to stop. You know you make me shiver. Baby, you burn so hot. You make me shiver with a fire. You got this thing you started. I don't want it to stop. You know you make me shiver. Yeah, you got me singing like, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're closer, give me the shivers. Oh, baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. When they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. Oh, no, say, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're closer, give me the shivers. Oh, baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. When they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. Yeah. Who knew that love could be so bittersweet? Oh, when it finally meets the end. But there is something in the summer wind, a moment to begin again.
I know that every time a door is shut, a window opens up for me. It's all wide open down this road I'm on. I'm finding who I want to be.
I got a second chance to fly. I got a second chance to fall. What can make the tide turn? What can make the fire burn? A second chance is all. Was I a fool to read between the lines? Did I misread the signs that much? Who would have thought we'd come this far as friends? Maybe that should have been enough. Maybe I'm safer when I'm on the run. No time to open up my heart. Maybe I'll hide behind my walls again instead of tearing them apart. I got a second chance to fly. I got a second chance to fall. What can make the tide turn? What can make the fire burn? A second chance is all.
I'm finding who
Begin again, I knew what I wanted.
I'm safer when I'm on the run.
Begin again, I knew what I wanted.
I'm safer when I'm on the run. I got a second chance to fly.
I got a second chance to fall. What can make the tide turn? What can make the fire burn? A second chance is all. I got a second chance to fly. I got a second chance to fall. I wonder what can make the tide turn? What can make the fire burn? A second chance is all.
I'm finding
Begin again, I knew what I wanted.
I'm safer when I'm on the run.
Begin again, a second chance is all. Still a fight, I'm on a roller coaster ride. Hoping you can change your mind. I don't wanna let go, never been so sure in my life. You're my sunlight on a rainy day. Would take my heart with you if you walked away.
All right, can you all hear me? Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you with us. We might need to turn down the music just a tad. Do we know where that works? All right. Thanks, Nick. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Jason Perry, the director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics. You ready for some pretty amazing speeches tonight? It's going to be so good. You're going to love this. This is our 7th annual Hip Talks competition. And I want you to know this is named after the late Wayne Owens. Some of you remember him as a congressman, but also his family. Those of you who remember him know he was known as being someone who knows how to give a speech and an expert at communication and delivering a message. This is named after him. The scholarships that will be given tonight are named after him. We're so grateful for his family. We have one representative here in the middle, Wayne Owens, one of our judges. He is here representing the family this evening. This is his 3rd time being a judge in one of the finals competitions, but we're grateful for the Owens family for making sure that we can do this tradition every year. So far, we've given out over $60,000 in scholarships to students on campus for these speeches. There's power in these speeches. You're going to feel them tonight when we go forward. We spent all last week judging competitions. Students from 40 different majors here on campus, every imaginable topic, and it was near impossible to get the list down to the 30 we're going to hear tonight, but they are that good this evening. The people who are giving speeches tonight, I want to tell you what's going to happen. What we're looking for as judges, so you can kind of get some idea of what's happening as well, it's an original 2-minute speech, all right? Something that they have written. Whatever the topic is, they get to choose the topic, but we'll be judging them based on the delivery, including memorization, the speech organization, the speech length, which is how long? 2 minutes, all right? Alex, will you raise your hand? See Alex in the back? Those of you who are giving your speeches tonight, she'll be holding up a sign. Why don't you just go ahead and show us? See that, 20 seconds? And then time? We do mean it, all right? She's going to come back and she's going to say, I've showed the time sign, and they kept going by this much. It will weigh in on the decision for who's going to win. Those of you, when you came in, you saw your list and the order. That's a completely random list that was put together. So go ahead and take a look, see who you're following, and just be ready, all right? We expect you to jump up promptly. You'll get that 1 minute, 30 second, and then the cutoff. For the audience, please pay close attention to who you like the most. Did you all get a ballot when you came in? Okay, everyone, are you nodding? You saw one of those? So we're going to pick 4 of the runners-up and a grand prize winner. You are going to select the audience favorite. All right, so start thinking of that at the end of the competition. You'll submit your ballot. We'll count up the number of ballots for each individual speaker, and that will be the one that will win. So be ready. I want to introduce our judges very quickly. Maybe just raise your hand as you go through. We have some judges that have been very much connected to this competition for a while. Julianne Liu, please raise your hand. There's Julianne. She was our grand prize winner in 2021. 2021 grand prize winners. Glad to have you with us. Moira Gray, raise your hand right there, was our audience favorite in 2021. You're going to have something to say about that, right? Yeah, Moira. All right. Jess Wojciechowski over here, our ASUU student body president. She's kind of finishing her term now as student body president. Glad to have you with us. Thanks, Jess. Nick Theriot, right over here in the black shirt. He's the communications director for the Kelsey Gardner Policy Institute. Thank you for being with us. And then the great Jennifer Napier Pierce. Many of you have seen her, not just a journalist and author, but working with papers, and now the senior advisor of communications for Governor Spencer Cox. Jennifer, thanks for being here. All right. And I'm going to be the final judge tonight as well, because I get to see all the way from the beginning to the end. We're just so glad to have you with us for this competition. You're all going to be in for a treat tonight. These are just some really great students doing some great things, and there's so much power in being able to communicate a message, and that's why this competition is just so very, very important. So we're going to jump right to it now, and we'll go to our first speaker, Max. All lives don't matter. Max, please start us off.
All lives don't matter yet. All lives matter will not be true until Black lives and the lives of others who are marginalized have been added to the all. My life has always mattered. When a misunderstanding and a 911 false alarm had my bedroom door flung open in the night and a cop twice my size in the door with a massive gun and a very white light, I was startled, but I wasn't afraid. I knew police would protect me. I knew the system would protect me. I knew my country would protect me. My life has always mattered. And I know that story isn't even true for all white folks. It's understanding that we have a lot of broken things about this system, and it's okay to talk about one issue at a time. Because it was racism that shot 12-year-old Tamir Rice when he played alone with an airsoft gun, while my brother and his friends could roam unthreatened by anything but welts and scrapes from warring in our streets. Racism asked no questions. Racism didn't get a closer look. Racism didn't try to talk to peace when it sped its car beside the boy and shot him to the ground. I saw the tape. And it's okay to talk about racism because only times of strong attention to the issue have brought change. So let's not change the subject. Let's listen, and let's learn, and let's vote, and let's cope with the pain and the danger as a nation of diverse allies, and push you and me and your friends and my friends and cops and Congress and rightists and leftists until Black lives matter. Until we get one step closer to that good-hearted hope that one day we can say with no vice in our voice or our eyes that all lives matter, and it will be the truth.
A man has frozen to death in Pioneer Park while the city council argues over where to put the new homeless shelter. And Salt Lake City winters do not care about property values, about the cost of living, about tourism money. Salt Lake City winters only care about the greatest snow on earth. A man in Pioneer Park is buried under 6 feet of the greatest snow on earth, and residents of the Sugar House neighborhood all chipped in for the headstone. Here lies no shelter on Simpson Avenue, one of 58 frozen to death this year, a new high score since the recession. And my conservative family talk about how he deserved to die. Just one less. Warmth is a privilege and not a right. And my liberal friends talk about how hard they work to beautify this neighborhood so that it wouldn't look like a ghetto. Say they should move the shelter to the middle of the desert, somewhere nobody lives, a corral for the disenfranchised, also called a ghetto. A man has frozen to death in Pioneer Park, and the new shelter is canceled because my liberal friends protested it to save the Crystal Shop. Because my conservative family protested it to allocate tax dollars to something important, like fighting the public health crisis of porn. And none of them know about when I was homeless and I slept in the canyon and the ice was an undead thing with their faces, and I had failed to kill myself again that night, and the frost had come to finish the job, and freezing. It is the silent death. It is a sleep that eats you whole. The snow digs your grave with no sound, no shovel, no eulogy. The sun came up, but I wonder if I did freeze to death, if I am a ghost, because it's like I'm the only one who can see the other ghosts. On Simpson Avenue, where the shelter should have been, someone is spray painted on a dumpster. We are cold, we are hungry, help us. And the people eating vegan sandwiches and walking to Zumba classes do not see it. And it is the quietest murder.
I wore a gray backpack on my first day at my new job, and the day after that, and the day after that. Every day I'd walk in with the backpack, sit down at my desk, and go to work. I was eager to prove myself to my new colleagues, and all around me a sea of tech bros raged, and even if I couldn't be part of that sea, I still wanted to prove that I could swim. Now, I knew my work was up to snuff, but I spent endless amounts of time worrying that I wouldn't be taken seriously because I didn't fit the mold of what a data scientist was supposed to be. So I shed some of my overt femininity in favor of dark colors, ponytails, and a lot of t-shirts. My work uniform. After a while, though, I realized I wasn't getting paid to reinforce biases. I was getting paid to code. So I retired the gray backpack in favor of a brightly colored, computer-sized handbag, and the next day with that handbag on my shoulder, I walked into the office, ready to embrace me. And no one really noticed, and no one really cared. I was treated exactly the same. For better or for worse, we all absorb the biases around us, and while I had seen and experienced misogyny in the workplace, what really set me back this time was my own misogyny. I was the one perpetuating the idea that my femininity would undercut my competency. Learning and unlearning patriarchal systems takes time, and sometimes as we're moving through that process, it's full of big, life-changing moments, but more often than not, It's small, continual realizations, day after day, that force us to re-examine the world around us. Now, this moment was obviously the second sort of realization, but regardless of its size or its impact, it was a step forward, and I chose to celebrate that.
Has anyone here heard of the term inspiration porn? For those of you who haven't, don't worry, I promise this speech has nothing to do with sex. The term refers to media that depicts disabled people as tragically inspirational figures and is produced for a non-disabled audience. However, there's also a unique intersection between inspiration porn and the world of higher education. When I was applying for colleges, my mom told me that I should write my essay about my experience as an autistic high school student. I naively thought, but shouldn't I write something that authentically reflects my entire self, not just my struggles? As it turns out, no. I was rejected from almost every school I applied to, while my similarly qualified classmates who wrote about their similar struggles were accepted. To this day, I struggle with feelings of inadequacy and failure. What did I do wrong? Did I really need to package up years of trauma with a nice little bow to sell myself? Unfortunately, students who experience oppression of all kinds are taught that the answer to this question is yes. Disabled students in particular are taught that we must spin our own stories into inspiration porn to prove that we are disabled, but not so disabled that our needs become offensive to the overwhelmingly non-disabled culture of higher education. The only way for us to succeed is to promote the same dangerous narratives that inspiration porn promotes, that disabled people just need to try harder to succeed, that our failure is personal rather than due to massive structural barriers, and that we exist to make the non-disabled feel good about themselves. Now, I'm sure we're all mature enough to know that we shouldn't look to porn for our expectations of reality. Today, I'm asking you all to apply the same principle to inspiration porn. Disabled students should not need to prove that we've somehow overcome our disabilities to prove ourselves worthy of education, scholarships, and employment. We are worthy not in spite of our disabilities or because of them, but simply as we are.
Scientists warn that we will exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming if we do not cut our greenhouse gas emissions in half in just 10 years. When I think about the challenges we face with the global climate crisis, strangely enough, my grandfather comes to mind. My grandpa Carl was a loving father and an extraordinary man. He was also an alcoholic. He died of cirrhosis of the liver at age 48. My mother tells me that as she watched alcohol corrode his life, she was consumed by one dominant thought. I hate what you are doing because I love you so much. Many of us have known the pain of loving someone who is self-destructive. It's infuriating. More so, it's heartbreaking. And when I think about that particular quality of pain, I realize that's exactly how I feel when I think about humankind's dependence upon fossil fuels. My generation is the child of an addict. We were born on a collision course constructed by our forebears, and while you have promised us time and time again that you will break your addiction, with each relapse, the promises sound more hollow. Why is this addiction so painful to me? I hate what we are doing because I love us so much. Cutting carbon emissions in half in just 10 years is a dauntless task, but I have to believe that we are worth saving from ourselves. In the next 10 years, I may become a mother. I don't want to look my child in the eyes and apologize for being yet another generation ensnared in addiction. I want to tell them how I lived during the most crucial heartbeat of history, how we changed its course for the better.
When your mom dies, you might feel like the thing that tethers you to the planet is gone, and like you are just floating away, because the person whose love matters the most will never stand with their feet planted firmly on the earth again. You might feel like the phrases passed away and no longer with us are criminally euphemistic, and you will not use them because nobody can think that her death is okay or acceptable or not completely terrible. No, you will say that she died, she is dead, she will never live again. You might feel like every good thing that will ever happen to you has already happened to you. You might feel unforgivable because you didn't give her enough morphine. Or maybe you gave her too much. And because everybody expects you to know what to do because you are a nurse, but you work in obstetrics and know everything about how people are born and nothing about how they die. You might feel like the things that you feel have no rhyme or reason. They won't. Grief is like a house cat. It will wander in and out of your life according to its own pleasure. At times you will think, I haven't seen it for a while. And other times you feel its full weight when it comes and lays in your lap and makes itself a home there. And you might feel something that I don't have a name for when you say, I really wish my mom was here. And your fiance says, I know, you need her more than you need me. And you realize that actually the person whose love matters the most is right in front of you, standing with their feet planted firmly on the earth again.
Miss Independent, she sang every day, a little girl that dreamed of being president or success in some way. Suffocated by words, thoughts, and opinions, the judgment of others making her question her every step. Why care about school? Why be smart when you could just be pretty? Men don't want an ambitious woman, they want someone hot. Rather than that, she grew hot with the anger boiling inside. I don't want to be just a wife, I want to have a life. I have goals and dreams just like that little girl I used to be. Shh. Go back to the kitchen, they said. No one wants to see a woman succeed. A recipe began to form in her mind, a teaspoon of doubt, a quarter cup of harsh words mixed with a cup of unwanted opinions, baked into a perfect destruction of ambitions and goals. Miss Independent, she sang no more. Maybe the kitchen is the best place for a girl. No, it cannot be. Why wear an apron when I could wear a suit? The little girl I used to know dreamed of big things. She dreamed of changing the world and of making her mother proud. In the midst of all the hate and doubt, her mother still hummed that song the little girl sang so long ago. While baking in the kitchen, she was trapped in. Be better, do better, her mother would say. You can do big things, bigger than a woman trapped in the kitchen like me. Yes, I could, and so could that little girl I used to know. Go back to the kitchen, they said, as I walked towards the steps of success paved in marble and stone. Did they not know that Miss Independent belonged in the courtroom and not back at home? And so I say to all the little girls out there, create your own recipe for success, whatever that may be, and do not let anyone restrict your destiny.
I bet I can tell you what you're thinking right now. You're wondering why I am here. What does this girl have to say that's so important she needs an entire audience to be forced to listen to her? Truth is, I don't have anything to say. If I was more like my grandpa, my little sister, there'd be a lot of reasons for me to be up here. Maybe I thought I could win some money, or I might actually enjoy entertaining people. Maybe I had an idea that needed to be shared. But I'm not like them. I didn't have any ideas. I'm here to practice. I'm here because I have to practice. I'm here because if I can't speak in front of an audience, then how can I be considered a leader? If I can't be eloquent under pressure, then how can I expect to make it through interviews for grad school or a job? I have to be able to enunciate, speak slowly, project my voice, use eye contact and hand gestures, and engage my audience. How'd I do, by the way? Pretty good? Yeah, I practiced, because this, public speaking, is not what I'm good at. You know what I am good at, though, is listening. You would think that a good listener would be desirable as a friend, a student, a nurse, but for some reason, no one wants someone who's quiet. So I'm here on this stage, pretending to be someone that I'm not, so that eventually I can succeed at convincing everyone important that I am someone that I'm not. Seems a little backwards, wouldn't you say? In my 15 years of education, I learned all about the value of listening, how to be a good listener, how to build a team that listens to all of the options, how to solve conflict by listening to both sides of the argument. And yet, listening is only attractive when it's packaged in a cute little bubbly, relatable personality. So the people like me who are actually good at listening spend all of their energy trying to be the person that always knows what to say. But I already told you the truth. I don't have anything to say. Were you listening?
I like to think of myself as a sort of gay boy Emily Dickinson, who incidentally becomes the life of the party. Meanwhile, my psychiatrist likes to think of me as type 2 bipolar, which is an interpretation of events I'm less fond of. In any event, she prescribed me the mood stabilizer Latuda to treat my depression. But because it's patented and there are no generic options available, my prescription costs $413. Every 30 days, I have to decide whether I will buy the drug that saved my life, or whether I'll be able to afford to put food on the kitchen table and pay rent. And it is a decision all too familiar to the American people who are in the midst of an American drug crisis. Namely, that we're not doing nearly enough. In Regina Benjamin's 2013 study, she found that 133 million Americans are prescribed daily medications for chronic health conditions, but 3 out of every 4 do not take their medication as prescribed, largely due to cost. So, every year, 125,000 Americans will die premature, preventable deaths. We can do better. In economist Dean Baker's book, The Rigged Economy, he proposes eliminating pharmaceutical patents and replacing them with long-term R&D contracts between the NIH and pharmaceutical firms intended to produce innovative new drugs. This would dramatically lower the cost of prescription medications in the United States by ensuring that every medication has a cheaper generic alternative. It would also catalyze innovation by eliminating the perverse incentive for evergreening, a process in which pharmaceutical companies make minor changes to the drugs already on the market so that they can extend the life of their patents and keep prices and profits artificially high. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Life and the Biosciences found that 80% of all patented drugs are evergreened. By eliminating this waste, we can promote innovation, ensure affordability, and save lives. Our health is on the line. Thank you.
My name is Aya, and I am Muslim. As a child, I was afraid of being an outcast, afraid that being different would be used against me. And who can blame me? After 9/11, I learned to hide every Muslim element of me. The news channels told me that I was violent, that I was oppressed, and a terrorist. Their message was clear: you should not have a space here. Society echoed its message. No accommodations, no representation. The Muslim ban in 2017 was loud. Go home, they said. We don't want more. I thought, you can't be American and Muslim. I should not expect to be accepted. This country was the land I loved, but the land didn't want me. Then something changed within me. I realized the platform had been given to those who spread hate instead of those who loved. I opened myself to answer questions and to share my narrative. My mom's hijab is not a form of oppression. It's her way of self-expression. It's part of her history, her culture, and her identity. My prayer may look different, but it's my practice of meditation, gratefulness, and love. Allahu Akbar may sound scary, but to me it means God is greater, a reminder that when things in life get hard, life will be okay, and no one will take that from me. Maybe I can be American and Muslim. It may sound insignificant, but every genuine question asked, Ramadan Mubarak said, and respect shown made me feel so seen when I thought I was invisible. I thought speaking up was unnecessary, but I was wrong. It was my key to create change. My voice and my stories are powerful. The news channels won't control my narrative anymore. I do deserve a space here.
Hello, my name's Emmy Raditich, and the title of my speech is All That Glitters Is Not Gold. You take a dive. All your life, you've dreamt of becoming the world's best athlete, and here you are at the Olympics. When you emerge from the water, you become the Olympian awarded the most gold medals in history. But when that gold medal falls around your neck, you feel nothing but empty. This is the story of Michael Phelps, someone we can argue is one of the best individual athletes the world has seen, and yet he has been so open about his struggle with mental illness. It is paradoxical and concerning that so many high-achieving people are so miserable, and I think I know the answer why. Competition. I define competition to be working hard to be better than others, and I don't blame anybody for it. We were raised in a culture that celebrates cutthroat behavior, saying that competition drives productivity and innovation. I believe that competition drives depression, discrimination, and war. For what is war if not the most gruesome competition? I know this well. My parents fled their homeland when the Yugoslav Civil War broke out because one group decided that they were superior to another and they wanted to prove it through senseless bloodshed. It is akin to what we are seeing today in the world with Ukraine. So how do we stop this? I think the antidote is ambition. While competition is working hard to be better than others, ambition is working hard to be better for others. When you have a purpose that is so much greater than yourself, you stop caring about winning gold and you care more about winning over hearts of gold instead. And I know that sounds cheesy, but think of your favorite mentor. Do you appreciate them because they steamroll others or because they help others? I mean, you're probably thinking of them because they've helped you. And what is the end result? It is community, fulfillment, and utter joy. So I encourage you to inspire more ambition and eliminate competition in your life. Thank you.
My name is Jordan Amelka, and my speech is a hero and a villain in OR5. Am I a hero or a villain? Some days I feel like both. Through my tears, you will see all of these emotions untold. At Primary Children's Hospital in operating room number 5, only children will see it with subdural hematomas and brain tumors. They plea and scream and cry. No, stop, don't touch me. Where's my mommy? Why can't they see? We're here to help heal them, not to take their life. They're my patient, I love them. They're my priority and my focus. My only goal is for them to have the very best prognosis. I hope I see them outside playing with other children under the sun and having fun. I know the brain tumor we took out years ago, it did not define their future. But I am not God, and I can't control all. My knowledge and skill is limited, and sometimes my efforts fall. I'll never forget their sweet little faces. They look up at me with skin pale. Their bodies are so frail. Shh, I tell them. Hold on, little one. Your life has just begun. I'm here for you and I love you. But these words are only words. As I look down, their blood drips down my surgical gown, and I know my prayers remain unheard. Tears fill my eyes, and the sting and pain hits my heart, knowing that this precious little souls simply would not restart. Why? What more could we have done? What more could I have done? The room is silent. We can all feel it because the pain is far too great. As my attending surgeon says, time of death is 22:38. A neurosurgery surgical technologist, this is my job. I do what I can and I do what I must. I just hope that people understand how much I love these little lives, even those that are up above. Thank you.
Hate is a strong word, my mom says. Spread love, not hate. I became familiar with hate is a virus and hate has no home here. But what I realize is that there's a deeper meaning beneath these expressions. Loving to hate. A fundamental idea of the violence against Asian American women highlighted by the pandemic. I was confused by this because a man rolled down his window and yelled at me, "Ni hao, baby, I would love a piece of that." Do you love me then? I'm often approached by strangers who comment that they love Asian women and want to use me as their China doll. So, do you love me? In March 19, 2020 to December 31st, 2021, women make up about 62% of over 10,000 reported hate incidents against Asian American persons. In 2021, the Atlanta shooter dedicated his killings to a sex addiction and wanted to justify the temptations caused by spa workers, blaming women for triggering unwanted desires within men. Almost a year later, Christina Yuna Lee was also stalked, stabbed over 40 times, and found half naked in her Chinatown apartment, located a few blocks away from my childhood apartment. And this is not new. Chanel Miller was a victim of rape in 2015 when I was just 14 years old. It is now clear to me, women like me are loved because of sexism, but also hated because of our race, manifested in racialized misogyny in an attempt to control our bodies. The antithesis of love and hate has made Asian American women vulnerable to fetishization and white sexual imperialism. Nobody is noticing because we are stereotyped as submissive women and silenced as the model minority, perpetuating brutality against us. I am an object in the hands of love-filled hate, hateful love, and nobody is giving me the answer to this question. Do you or do you not hate me? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Spencer Barber, and the title of my speech is Masks. Typically, I do too much of everything, but I'm used to that by now. My life is stressful, or at least that's what I say, but here I am, still smiling all the while my life, if you can even call it that, slips through my fingers. I try to grab at the last few fraying threads of my motivation and social life, but those two disappear, leaving my hands to close around each other without any comfort between. Stop worrying, they say, but how do I try to do that? Am I supposed to be able to just stop the spinning in my head, slow my heartbeat, and remember how to breathe? Suddenly, tears well up, and my emotions that don't exist are crumbling and crushing me. Put all the stress in a box and just procrastinate dealing with it. But I've run out of boxes. I've run out of storage space for emotions that I can't delete like pictures. The entire void that exists in my soul is suddenly what my life circles around. No food, no water, no life. I guess I say I have a lot to do because I do. I tell myself I do. A long to-do list prevents me from having nothing to do because then I'll be able to think. So smile, fake it. Pretend you have everything you could ever want. Put up walls that will be torn down and pulled into the void by the smallest of actions from myself or others. I know something is wrong. I want to feel. I want to not worry, but I don't know how to take off my mask. How can I let others see what I see? How can I be the person I know I am? Sounds cliche. Sounds easy. But the mask I wear feels as if my soul wears it, dragging my life away from the air I so desperately need to breathe. Is there any chance I will? I function, sure, but these masks, my mask for anxiety, my mask for depression will kill me in the end. Thank you.
On that hill was the moment that he believed that he could get there. If we want to see change in the world, don't tell the younger generation that they're messing it up. Give them the track that they need to run on and give them the confidence to make changes, good ones. We are so quick to conform to the ideas of others. We get stuck in this mindset of one way to do things. If we truly want to see change, we need to start fostering differences, passion, curiosity, and dreams. I want to change the world, and I believe that I can.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Zhang, and the name of my speech is The Despair of Happiness. If you own a weighted blanket, pay a monthly fee for a meditation app, or doom scroll through Pinterest, congratulations. You're probably a neurotic young adult who spent the past 5 years wondering why, despite spending a small fortune in rose quartz crystals, you're still so deeply unhappy. No shade, I fall into this camp as well. And after so many years spent chasing happiness, convinced that once I reached it, I would be the happiest, most mindful, productive, and healthy version of myself, I've come to the conclusion that this endless pursuit of happiness is what's kept me miserable for so long. Modern wellness culture tells us that happiness is the ultimate end goal, but by only assigning value to the positive emotions, we're effectively telling ourselves that the negative ones don't matter. This isn't true. Negative feelings remind us of our values, of our shared humanity, and help us direct change to the things in our lives that we want to see. However, when we don't provide this space for negative feelings, we flounder. Renowned psychologist and meditation teacher Tara Brach has this to say about pain, that awareness in the presence of it dissolves the perception of a self who is struggling and at war with life. When we self-flagellate in the face of negative feelings, we're effectively showing ourselves that only the positive ones deserve value, which flies in the face of the best part about being human, which is that we get to feel deeply, without shame, and share those feelings with others. Contrary to what your Urban Outfitters coffee table books might say, we don't need to be focused on being the happiest versions of ourselves. Rather, what we need is to acknowledge the gruesome and gorgeous nature of being alive, of being here in these bodies, and being able to feel everything on the spectrum, from intense pain and suffering to overwhelming gratitude and joy. And I think that once we do, we'll be able to acknowledge the fact that we exist together. We'll be able to treat ourselves and the world around us with more kindness, grace, empathy, and yes, happiness. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Corinne Clarkson, and this is Bigger Pockets. Imagine a doctor, a pro basketball player, a Viking warrior. Did you imagine a man? If you did, you're not alone. We live in a world where almost everything is male until proven otherwise. I once had a friend tell me that she wanted to wear the pants in her relationship, and I realized I don't want to wear the pants, I want to share the pants. The problem is that the pants were never made for me. The pockets aren't deep enough for my phone and my wallet, let alone an education, a career, and a family. I'll need male pockets for that. Men are not monsters. They're just the default. In her book, Invisible Women, Caroline Criado Perez reveals that we live in a world built for and by men, everything from phone design to AI to government policy. Turns out my Subaru is not even built for me. Women are 47% more likely to be seriously injured in a car accident, in part because car manufacturers rarely use female test dummies. Even the medical field is influenced by this gender default bias, and every day, women are left misunderstood, misdiagnosed, and mistreated. Women are considered a variation of standard humanity, and that's why we have psychology, female psychology, anatomy, female anatomy, and this goes beyond medicine, history, women's history, classic literature written by women, presidents of the United States, and we'll get there. But imagine where we would be now if throughout all of history, women were given the same opportunities as their male counterparts. Luckily, things are changing. Women are entering the room where it happens. But the first thing we can change is our own minds. We can allow ourselves to imagine women as the doctors, pro athletes, and Viking warriors they were and are. They say behind every great man is a great woman, but it shouldn't be that way. We should stand shoulder to shoulder as great men and great women, working together to create the world that we want. That is the future. Not a future of female domination, but of perfect collaboration. Closing the gender gap will not only benefit women, it will benefit all of humanity. And maybe we can start with bigger pockets. Thank you.
I'm JT Kaufman, and this is Boxes. Why do we force kids into boxes before they even have the chance to learn who they are? Studies show that when 5-year-olds are asked which gender they expect to be smart and which gender they expect to be nice, they attribute both traits to both genders equally. But when asked just 1 year later, they expect more girls to be nice and more boys to be smart. These kids, barely out of the toddler phase, have already internalized gender roles, likely stemming from the constant reminders to man up and be a lady, casually doled out since birth. I was never comfortable being told to man up, never at ease being called a boy. For me, that means I'm non-binary, but as a kid, I could only ever agonize over not fitting people's expectations of masculinity. If my own attempt to end my life wasn't alarming enough, then maybe the 31% of youth with gender dysphoria that attempt suicide will catch your attention. It's time to face the facts. Parents are comfortable bombarding kids from every angle with gender propaganda, from ladies' man onesies to kitchen play sets for girls. Kids are deprived of the chance to explore their own unique identities to ensure that the binary is upheld. Clothing, emotions, intelligence, none of those belong to a specific gender. I wish I had learned that as a kid. Maybe I wouldn't have resorted to such an injurious method of externalizing my inner conflict. So here's your challenge. Look around you. Celebrate the people in this room for their individuality, not for their conformance to a set of callously contrived gender norms. And when you leave, commit to loving your friends, not for their ability to fit into some outdated box. Commit to loving your family and your friends as their beautiful, unique selves. You might just save their life. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sydney Caradona, and the title of my piece is What is Critical Race Theory? Critical Race Theory, CRT, a tool for mutual understanding between you and me. Beyond its recent falsified political portrayal, CRT and its truths will always prevail. This body of knowledge finally gave shape to all I had been questioning as a graduate student seeking educational justice and reckoning. It has provided answers to my many contemplations, explaining how despite Cesar Chavez, farm labor still resembles that of a plantation. As painful as the thought may be, some celebrated political victories aren't what they seem. I mean, even Brown v. Board has a paper trail of its own. After aiding racial liberation overseas and racial strife at home, we were questioned as leaders of the free world, and Brown v. Board was a lunge for the throne. CRT places value on all knowledge types and methods, reminding me of every time I've stood and joined hands with my family, where I've learned lessons that would take a classroom hours in seconds. CRT has the audacity to beg the question, despite our people's so-called progression, why do I see rooms full of faces with few darker than mine, despite everything being built on black and brown spines? And really, where would we be without them? Or who? I love basketball, music, poetry, and dancing. I can't imagine any of those without Black culture. Can you? But that's the question Derek Bell's short story, Space Traders, poses to me and you. If aliens came down offering solutions to our every problem in exchange for our Black population, what would we do? Ridden with controversy, the story can bring up every feeling under the sun, showing us that CRT is just a reminder that our work is yet to be done. Thank you.
Hi, my name is London Kelly, and my speech is entitled The Magic of Books. Before I started kindergarten, I absolutely despised reading. Now, that's not to say I didn't love books. Most of my childhood memories involve books. Well, that and the time that I angered a red anthill when I was still in diapers, but I digress. I remember my Nana and I going up to the attic, and we would set up one of those little kid pop-up tents. We would lay inside, read picture books, count our fingers and toes, compare hands and feet. My dad, when he would put me to bed, would read to me Chronicles of Narnia, and I'd be swept into a magical world of Jesus-esque lions, evil witches, and Turkish delight. Whatever that is. Right before I started kindergarten, though, my dad decided that it was time for me to learn to read. I decided, no, it was not. And they tried everything. I mean, prize charts and stickers and treats. I was determined to remain illiterate. It wasn't until my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Barnes, took me under her very kind, but most importantly, non-parental tutelage that I finally learned. I didn't love it, though, not until second grade, when I picked up the Rainbow Fairy books, which was this book series about two best friends on a quest to save their world by saving the color. And I devoured them book after book. And then I moved on to other little runs. Ramona Beasley, Magic Treehouse, Junie B. Jones. Eventually, my stepmom had to step in and prompt me to read longer, harder books because I was starting to cost them something of a fortune. Starting college, though, I read significantly less. I mean, between work and school and required readings, I just didn't feel like I had time, and when I did, I wanted to sit and watch TV. This semester, though, I made it to goal to start reading again, and I have once again been swept into the fantastical escape the books have and always will offer me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kate Lunnan, and this is Straight Again. So a gay kid walks into a Utah bathroom, and it's just the sort of bathroom that I don't want to be in, but there isn't an all-gender one in the building, and I don't have the courage to try the men's today, so now I'm face-to-face with 4 carbon copies of the daughter my parents wished they had, all staring at me as though Pride Month got old 3 years ago. And it's almost funny, except it's really not, because all of a sudden I'm in a bathroom stall and I can't breathe and my hands are shaking and I don't even need to pee anymore because the only thing I can feel is the weight of my father's hands placed on my head in the 10th grade when he asked God to make me straight again. I always think about that last word, again, as if there were really a before and an after, a moment in which, by means of satanic intervention, the ancient spirits of Sodom and Gomorrah entered my body and began their evil work. I used to think that if I could just get to that before again, then maybe things would be okay. Then maybe I could listen to the voice of the man who named me, laughed with me, cried with me, and sang me to sleep, and not feel my heart speed up too fast to catch it. Then maybe I could call him and tell him that I love him and really mean it, because isn't it messed up that I don't mean it? That when I tell my father I love him, sometimes the only thing I'm thinking of is the look in his eyes when I told him I was dropping out of BYU, and how he made fun of my new hair, and how in the middle of the night I stood at a ledge and dialed his number and he never answered and he never asked me if I was okay. Dad, that really hurt me. And I'm still here in this bathroom stall just trying to remember that I'm in the after now. And that there isn't really a before and an after, but if there was a before and an after, I would tell the before me that the after me has a good haircut now. And that most of the time I'm still afraid, but these days when I step out of the bathroom stall and I look in the mirror, I don't wish I was straight again anymore. Thank you.
My name is Kelsey, and my speech is called Bag of Bones. During my graduation speech, I looked up at my family and saw a row of fat arms. I was terrified of becoming the people I loved the most. I would lay awake at night on hours on end, not knowing why, and then it hit. I forgot to step on the scale. A simple weighing in, and I could fall asleep peacefully. My weight has this horrible, controlling grasp over me, sitting in class, making sure my fingers can still latch around my wrists, getting dressed in the morning, making sure I can still fit into my middle school jeans, counting calories and fearing the thought of having to eat in front of others, looking in the mirror, the biggest I've ever been, taking a tape measure to my skin, abusing laxatives, starving myself, and still self-hatred. Growing up, my family nicknamed me Bag of Bones, a casual, witty nickname that has wrecked me to this day. Bones. I hate that my spine doesn't protrude anymore, that my ribs don't stick out the way they used to. I know it's not healthy, and yet it is what I strive for. This idea of beauty is not okay. Starving and eating disorders should not be as common as the latest TikTok trend. We are told to be the generation of change, and yet the only thing we are changing is our outfits, searching for the clothes that makes us fit in or look slim. Boys need to be strong, girls need to be skinny. No, the only thing you need to be is yourself. Forget the stereotypes of the way people look on TV. Forget femininity, masculinity, whatever it is that is grasping you, and just be. Be more than a bag of bones.
Growing up, I was not nurtured. My body was raised to bear consequences that did not belong to me. They belonged to my mother and my father and their mothers and fathers, but now they are rightfully mine, my inherited consequence with generations of experience in ripping me apart, dealt out to be suffered alone, but in the eyes of those who have come before me, I am severed from my salvation like it is a limb, amputated like it is a threat to my nature, and my pain is born anew each time, but I am not so endowed with the courage to be my own swift end. No, I was bred with cowardice and cruelty, born of obligation and allowed to live under some false pretense of redemption. I wasn't nurtured. In keeping with my family's traditions, I am miserable. I was always going to be, what with all this rot running through my blood, at least I got the whole package, sick and smart. It was a gift from my mother. In keeping with my family traditions, my parents should not have had children, but they did. And I spent my childhood watching my future through them, and then my doom through my brother. And then suddenly everyone was looking at me, waiting for me to fall victim to my inheritance, maybe hoping that I wouldn't. And when I did eventually succumb to the suffering, I didn't blame my parents. Okay, maybe I blamed my parents a little bit, but I try not to anymore. After all, I don't really think they could help it. Their bodies were raised to bear consequences that did not belong to them. They belonged to their mothers and their fathers, and now they are rightfully ours, our inherited consequence. But hey, at least I don't want kids.
I am a first-generation, non-traditional, pregnant college student at a university where it's difficult for somebody like me to afford rent. When I first found out that I would be having a baby, the unsolicited advice began with everybody telling me how things should be. How is your diet? Are you saving enough money? And what about school? Too many tried to suggest I would have to make a decision too cruel. I could finish my degree with the promise of a fulfilling career, or let go of my dreams so that for my baby I would always be near. We no longer live in a time where women are as restricted on options as they were before. We have rights, but still cannot escape the cultural expectation at the core. Some would try to say that sexism is a thing of the past, but personal experience and evidence would still contrast. When my sister told her classmates that she wanted to become a doctor, they asked her what her husband thought of that path for her. Statistics still say that she can't make as much money as a man, expectations that prevent us from doing the best that we can. There was someone when I worked in sales that told me that for a girl, your sales are high. Why? Why for a girl? Would success be expected of me if I were a guy? Women in the workplace are held to such a high standard. Make sure your outfit is perfect or your name will be slandered. Too many times I've heard the phrase, you look prettier when you smile. Because let's face it, anything short of perfection and women seem hostile. I recently read an article in the Salt Lake Tribune where I was disappointed to see that Utah was once again voted the worst state in the US for women's equality. These things I think of as I prepare to become a working mother. I don't feel like I should have to choose between one or the other. For me, it's even more important that I complete my degree, because what kind of person do I want my daughter to see? I'm not here to represent what all women should do. What works for me might not be what's best for you. I'm here to tell you that nobody can say how to live your life. And just because I'm going to be a mother doesn't mean I have to be an old-fashioned wife.
Hi, my name is Jacob Martin, and the title of my speech is Not in My Closet. Thrifting is a big part of my life. No, seriously, I have 3 closets that are all overflowing, and that hasn't stopped me from buying more clothes. Is it because retail therapy is my only form of therapy? Yes, it is. But clothing allows me to express myself in ways that sometimes words cannot. When I buy clothing, I think of how it will make me feel. And if it happens that that clothing is something that society has deemed as feminine, then so be it. Clothing is art, and it should not be condensed down to the gender binary that is male and or female. People should wear what makes them feel good. I remember the first time I thrifted a pair of high heels. They were black, and I felt good wearing them. But not being out to my family, I had to sneak them into my house and hide them in the closet, much like myself. Well, one night after coming home from a friend's house, I went into the kitchen to find the heels on the kitchen table. My mother sitting behind them, a look of disappointment on her face. Before I had the chance to explain myself, she stopped me and said, "Jacob, I am disappointed." She wasn't disappointed that I was gay. She was disappointed that after watching 9 seasons of Project Runway, I didn't have better taste in shoes. I have never been more relieved and burned by something my mother said at the same time. And since then, thrifting has become an even bigger part of my life. I now use clothing to express how I feel and my mood every day. And if you can't tell by what I'm wearing today, I am feeling pretty good. Thank you.
Here.
All right, this is your absolute last call to turn in your ballot. Bring it up to me if you have it.
Wake up and you let me down. This feeling doesn't fade no matter how hard that I try. I always think about it at the same time every night. It's 3 or 5. I'm on a roller coaster ride. Hoping you don't change your mind. I don't wanna let go, never been so sure in my life. I'm terrified. You turn around and say goodbye. Change your mind. I don't wanna let go. Never been so sure in my life. If there's a door to heaven, baby, you're the key. And if I had to beg, I'd be on my knees. Oh, please don't say anything has changed. You're the one I wanna wake up next to every day. This feeling doesn't fade no matter how hard that I try. I always think about it at the same time every night. It's 3 or 5. I'm on a roller coaster ride. Hoping you don't change your mind. I don't wanna let go. Never been so sure in my life. I'm terrified. You turn around and say goodbye. Hoping you don't change your mind. I don't wanna let go. Never been so sure in my life. I'm on a roller coaster ride. Hoping you don't change your mind. I don't wanna let go, never been so sure. Baby, I'm terrified. You turn around and say goodbye. Hoping you don't change. Please don't change your mind, darling. I'll never been so sure in my life. Here's to all the late night drunk phone calls that you picked up. Here's to all the bad decisions that you didn't judge. All the love yous and the hate yous and secrets that you told me. Here's to everyone but mostly us. There's a couple billion people in the world and a million other places we could be, but you're here with me. Take a moment just to take it in, 'cause every high and every low led to this. I'm just so glad you exist. Hey, look what a hello from a stranger turned into. Caught up in a moment like it's just us in this room. All the right words at the right time, and you know them 'cause you know me better than anyone else. We don't need anyone else. There's a couple billion people in the world and a million other places we could be, but you're here with me. Take a moment just to take it in, 'cause every high and every low led to this. I'm just so glad you exist. ever go, don't you ever go, don't you ever go changing. Never let me go, never let me go, never let me go, baby. Don't you ever go, don't you ever go, don't you ever go changing. Never let me go, never ever let me go, never let me go, baby. There's a couple billion people in the world, and a million other places we could be, but you're here with me. Take a moment just to take it in. Every high and every low led to this. I'm just so glad you exist. I'm glad you exist.
Fire and ice. This love is like fire and ice. This love is like rain and blue skies. This love is like sun on the rise. This love got me rolling the dice. Don't let me lose. Still falling for you. Still falling for you. Beautiful mind. Your heart got a story with mine. Your heart got me hurting at times. Your heart gave me new kind of highs. Your heart got me feeling so fine. So what to do? Still falling for you. Still falling for you. It took us a while. With every breath a new day. With love on the line. We've had our share of mistakes, but all your flaws and scars are mine. Still falling for you. Still falling for you. And just like that, all I breathe, all I feel, you are all for me, I'm in. And just like that, all I breathe, all I feel, you are all for me. No one can lift me, catch me the way that you do. I'm still falling for you. Brighter than gold, this love shining brighter than gold. This love is like letters in bold. This love is like out of control. This love's never growing old. You make it new. Still falling for you. Still falling for you. It took us a while, 'cause we were young and unsure. With love on the line, what if we both would need more? But all your flaws and scars are mine. Still falling for you, still falling for you, still falling for you. And just like that, all I breathe, all I feel, you are all for me, I'm in. And just like that, all I breathe, all I feel, you are all for me. No one can lift me, catch me the way that you do. I'm still falling for you. Falling, crashing to my heart. Love you like this, like a first kiss, never let go. Falling, crashing to my heart, never breaking what we got. Falling for you. Still falling for. And just like that, all I breathe, all I feel, you are all for me, I'm in. And just like that, all I breathe, all I feel, you are all for me, all for me. And just like that, all I breathe is you, all I feel is you, you are all for me, I'm still for. And just like that, all I breathe is you, all I feel is you, you.
All right, judges are still deliberating. So in the meantime, if we could just pick up and throw away any trash that's laying around, that would be incredible. And we'll get back to you all in a few minutes here.
true, la la la. Oh, I should be running. Oh, you keep me coming for you.
Land in Miami, the air was hot from summer rain, sweat dripping off me before I even knew her name. La la la, you felt like ooh la la la, yeah, no. Sapphire and moonlight, we danced for hours in the same tequila sunrise. Her body fit right in my hands, la la la. You felt like ooh la la la, yeah. I love it when you call me señorita. I wish I could pretend I didn't need ya, but every touch is ooh la la la. It's true, la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you know I love it when you call me señorita. I wish it wasn't so damn hard to leave ya, but every touch is ooh la la la. It's true, la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you keep me coming for you.
Back to the hotel. There's just some things that never change. You say we're just friends, but friends don't know the way you taste. La la la. Cause you know it's been a long time coming. Don't you let me fall. When your lips undress me, hooked on your tongue. Oh, love, your kisses deadly, don't stop.
I love it when you call me señorita. I wish I could pretend I didn't need ya, but every touch is ooh la la la. It's true, la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you know I love it when you call me señorita. I wish it wasn't so damn hard to leave ya, but every touch is ooh la la la. It's true, la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you keep me coming for ya. All along I've been coming for ya, and I hope it meant something to ya. Call my name, I'll be coming for ya, coming for ya. For ya. Oh, she loves it when I call for ya. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you keep me coming for ya. Said some things I ain't proud of. I wish I could take back. Never meant to make you hurt like that, no. For a while it was perfect. You made my world stand still. Oh, it's something about you, always will. So when it's late at night and you're still wide awake, if you're with your friends or you're lonely, when you hear somebody start to say my name, or when you think of me, I hope you think good things. I hope you. Picture that night in Portland. We drank 3 bottles of wine. I said I love you about 1,000,000 times. And then we drove to Seattle, and just a kiss in the rain. Now when it's pouring, do you see my face? So when it's late at night and you're still wide awake, if you're with your friends or you're lonely, when you hear somebody start to say my name, or when you think of me, I hope you think good things. I hope you. Think of the way that I started to shake when I held you for the first time. And every kiss that our lips made feel like New Year's Eve and midnight. Think of the 3 a.m. conversations, all of the big dreams that we were chasing down. And if I ever cross your mind somehow, then it's late at night and you're still wide awake. If you're with your friends or you're lonely, when hear somebody start to say my name. Oh, when you think of me, I hope you think good things. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you rollin'. Pulling me out, never letting me down, and I wanna make sure you know it. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you rollin'. Can't believe that I found my sunshine. Hey, everyone's trying to be the same. Till I met you, I was on that wave. But you really are something different. You do you, it must be nice, and I think it's rubbing off on me. Oh yeah, step to the left, step to the right, do what you want. What really matters is the journey that we're on. Yeah, riding with you, I'm finally know where I belong. I belong. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you roll. Pulling me out, never letting me down, and I wanna make sure you know it. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you rollin'. Can't believe that I found my sunshine. Oh, I was feeling so invisible. Yeah, I didn't know this could be possible. Alright, but you really know something different. You do you, just work it out, and I think it's rubbing off on me. Oh yeah, step to the left, step to the right, do what you want. What really matters is the journey that we're on. Yeah, riding with you, I finally know where I belong. I belong. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you rollin'. Pulling me out, never letting me down, and I wanna make sure you know it. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you rollin'. Can't believe that I found my sunshine. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you rollin'. Pulling me out, never letting me down, and I wanna make sure you know it. You're like a sunshine, only giving good vibes anytime that you rollin'. Can't believe that I found my sunshine. You're my sunshine. You're my sunshine, sunshine. I woke up, look in the mirror today, yeah. Got so many things that I wanna change, and everybody's got something to say, but that's just who we are. My new clothes don't fit anymore now. Me in the mirror still continue to fall out. I don't like this stranger staring at me, yeah. Oh, my insecurities, wishing for something different. Oh, the things you do to me, tell me the truth. Are we beautiful? All of us, 'cause we got something natural. It's a part of us, darling, when they put you down like that. Yeah, you can reply right back. You are beautiful. Yeah, I know you are. I know you are. I found myself looking again, wondering why my body doesn't look like them. No, it might sound weird, but I refuse to pretend. And then you probably think the same every now and again. I got more than all these scars. I got flaws and broken hearts. I don't like this stranger staring at me, yeah. Oh, my insecurities, searching for something different. Oh, the things you do to me, tell me the truth. Are we beautiful? All
All of us, 'cause we got something natural. It's a part of us, darling, when they put you down like that. Yeah, you can reply right back. We are beautiful. Yeah, I know we are. We are beautiful. Yeah, all of us, 'cause we got something natural. No, it's a part of us, darling, when they put you down like that. Yeah, you can reply right back. We are beautiful. Yeah, I know we are. I know we are. We are beautiful. All of us, 'cause we got something natural. It's part of us, darling, when they put you down like that. Yeah, you can reply right back. We are beautiful. I know we are.
Used to pray for a moment just like this. There's a fire in your eyes I can't resist. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. I can taste it forever on your lips. There's a lifetime living inside that kiss. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. We ain't getting any younger. To be honest, I don't care. I'm not trying to live forever. I'm just trying to be right here. This I know. Only now it's all we got. This I know. Just one more dance, two more drinks. It'll go by fast, so don't you blink. Used to pray for a moment just like this. There's a fire in your eyes I can't resist. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. I can taste it forever on your lips. There's a lifetime living inside that kiss. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Life moves a little faster every second I'm with you. I didn't know what I was after until I found it all in you. This I know. If tonight is all we got, then don't let go. Yeah, yeah. Just one more dance, two more drinks. It'll go by fast, so don't you blink. Used to pray for a moment just like this. There's a fire in your eyes I can't resist. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. I can taste it forever on your lips. There's a lifetime living inside that kiss. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Remember, remember, remember. Wanna remember, remember, remember. Wanna remember, remember, remember. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Pray for a moment just like this. There's a fire in your eyes I can't resist. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. You know it's true. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Used to pray for a moment just like this. There's a fire in your eyes I can't resist. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. I can taste it forever on your lips. There's a lifetime living inside that kiss. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Remember, remember, remember. Wanna remember, remember, remember. Wanna remember, remember, remember. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this. Baby, we're gonna wanna remember this.
I think of you in the wind.
Every night I've been counting the days.
I see your face almost every
'Cause I just wanna be there when you wake.
Sure, maybe Salt Lake is not
Denver
cold,
always seems so far away.
but I'm
But
still
I hope
breathing
you
you
know
in deep.
that we're still close. Because
The best part is knowing there's something in my dreams
and
that
I are worlds
always
apart.
makes me
I hold you in my heart.
It's you. The best part is knowing there's someone in my
I'm
life that
1,000
makes
miles
it
away.
all worth
I wish when I don't know what to do. No, I'm never giving up on you. Baby, I wish
There's no need to be blue,
because
the best part is knowing there's something in my dreams that
our worlds
always
apart.
makes me
Hold you
smile.
in my heart.
It's you, the best part is knowing there's someone in my life that
1,000 miles
makes
away.
it all worthwhile.
I wish that I could stay
It's you,
with you,
it's you.
I wish that I could stay
It's you.
It's cold up north. You're 1,000 miles away, and I think of you a lot. I know I'm yours. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, and my stomach's in the knot. I'm tired of talking on the phone in my room, speaking till the words run out. And I know that you're impatient too. I just need to be with you right now. I'm missing you today. Your kiss is far away. I'm gonna hold you soon, and I need you to know that I'm missing you. Say we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna see you soon, and I need you to know that I'm missing you today. I'm missing you today. I'm missing you today. I'm missing you today. You said 3 hearts, but everything's a tease when my lips ain't touching yours. I hate this feeling, like I'm suffocating while I'm breathing, like we're just hitting the wall. Oh, I'm tired of talking on the phone in my room, speaking till the words run out. And I know that you're impatient too. I just need to be with you right now. I'm missing you today. Your kiss is far away. I'm gonna hold you soon, and I need you to know that I'm missing you. Say we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna see you soon, and I need you to know that I'm missing you today. I'm missing you today. I'm missing you today. I'm missing you today. I'm missing you I'm missing you today. Your kiss is far away. I'm gonna hold you soon.
All right, can we get everyone to come on in? Come on in, have a seat. Can the judges come on up? Why are you still standing back there? So you all had a chance to watch this. This was an impossible task. Well, oh my. It took us longer, I know. It took too long for us to be hanging out in there, but it was just so hard. Can I just say congratulations to everyone, and maybe we'll turn down the music just a tad. Yeah. You all really were amazing. Thanks for doing this. Hope you felt the power of these speeches and these messages. It was really great tonight, so thank you for doing it. Everyone's a winner, but some people are going to get money along with being a winner. So I'm going to start with this. We're going to start with the audience favorite, and then we're going to go through the runners-up, and that is not in any particular order on the runners-up, and then we will give the grand prize winner. Sound good? Okay, your audience favorite, Jacob Martin. Come on over here. We're gonna get a picture in the middle with you, Jacob. Brooks giving directions. Jacob, thank you. Our run. Where we give a clap. Yes, Jacob. All right. The runners-up in no particular order. They're all awesome, and they all scored so well with our judges. Corinne Clarkson.
So I pushed you away, and I'm happy to say that you're doing so great on your own.
Helen Saley. Kate Lunnan. And Sienna Papiel. Everyone set? You ready for the grand prize winner? Our grand prize winner, and this was no small task here, Piper Christian. Thank you, everyone who participated. We're going to take a couple pictures if there's any food left. We do this every single year, all right? We want to see you back again. There's a lot of power in these speeches, all right? So stick around, enjoy the music, let's get some pictures. Good job. I'm going to move this out of the way, and we're going to come over there. Judges, can you come on up here for a second? Wow.
Never let you go. Couldn't run away if I tried. Cause even when I'm all alone, you got a hold of my mind. And I'll always let you know that I'm always gonna hold on. And I told you right from the start, you just say the word and I go. No, it doesn't matter how far, cause your love is all that I know. Baby, you just stay where you are, and you know I won't be too long. Hold on, hold on. Remember when I told you no matter where I go, I'll never leave your side, you will never be alone. Even when we go through changes, even when we roll, remember that I told you I'll find my way back home. 열어 기억을 걸어들어 써준 시간 위에서 선명히 너는 떠올라 길 잃은 맘속에 널 가둔 실사라 그만 멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가